Nerd reactor, roll out.
For this role here, what was it like just working opposite each other? And because you're always seeing each other like, oh, we're in this movie, and then this horror movie, we're here.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because our goal for 2024 was literally to work with each other. We said this back in an interview in like January, and I did not think that this was going to happen. So yeah, the fact that it did is incredible. I'm so grateful, and I hope I get to work with her more.
I really hope I get to work with you again. It was lovely getting to work with my sister for the first time.
Jacob, you're in the movie. Can you tell us a little bit about your character?
So my character name is David, and I can't tell you much about my character because I don't want to give too much away. But the tables between me and Judith do turn in the movie, and we have an interesting relationship. Let's put it that way, yeah.
And I feel like you've been in like the horror genre is like your calling, right?
Yeah.
Like, so is that personally a thing like you love like every Halloween time, like this is your thing?
I love Halloween. I love Halloween Horror Nights. I love all the events around Halloween. As far as like getting into the horror genre, it just kind of happened. I wasn't like, oh, I want to do horror. It kind of just came to me, and it's been super fun. It's definitely really different than a bunch of the other films that I've done. It's really fun, really cool.
You've been in a lot of horror projects. I feel like something about you where it just gravitate towards you. Why is that?
Well, this project it came about because I had worked with Violet when she was 6 on Haunting of Hill House. So it came to me that way. But I don't know. I kind of fell into working with some horror filmmakers, and it's a pretty tight community, and I think, they said, oh, Henry Thomas did your film, maybe he'll do our film, and it kind of takes off from there.
There we go.
But I'm happy, the fans love the genre, and I'm sometimes confused by it, but just because as an actor, you put so much into the character, and the first 2 acts are usually pretty solid, but then in horror films, the 3rd act, you destroy everything that you've created, so it's always about the audience enjoying the ride and kind of buying into the premise.
For this role, what can you tell us about it? Like, because you play like a lot of the fatherly roles, and what was it about this one? Like, how do you go tackle it at a different angle, or
I mean, you can try to do all those things, but ultimately, like, you're kind of a slave to the fact that, whatever you're going to do is going to be illogical by the end of the movie anyway. So for me, it's just about playing those moments where, in this character's mind, he's doing the best that he can possibly do. And you have to kind of sell that because the logic kind of goes out the window really quick. Yeah. Because, I don't think that a self-respecting police officer would actually like steal evidence from the evidence room and then think that it was going to fix his marriage. Yeah, it's a big jump.
Yeah, depends on the person, right? So
it's true. Yeah. I have a hard time because I try to look at everything as logically as I can, and so that's the big disconnect for me with most horror films. It's just that because it never quite makes sense, but I hope people think I make sense in this. Yeah.
Well, for me, like whenever I see you, like you relate, like I was like, oh, this guy's like a caring father. Like I like this guy. So yeah, that's the whatever he does. Sure, I'll buy into it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I think he is. I think he just he just screws it up.
So can you tell us a little bit about your character for the Curse of the Necklace?
Yeah, I mean, Laura's a bit of a trailblazer. She's a mom in the early 60s who decided she wants to go back to work. She becomes a single mom because her husband isn't into it. And then everything just goes to hell, basically.
And for you, horror, is that like a genre you love? And Halloween, like, do you celebrate that too? Like,
Yeah, I've always loved horror. I've done a few now, and I don't know, it's a thrill to be scared, right?
Tell me about George.
George is a complicated cat. George really is layered. He's struggling with, this takes place in the Depression, and he's out farming the best he can, has no heirs, trying, that he and his wife are trying. And at that time, you don't have sons. That's it. You know, your name dies, your legacy dies, your stuff goes to the state, there's nothing left. So they were trying really, really hard to have, to carry on their legacy. And his struggle is dynamic because he knows what needs done. I don't want to spoil too much, but he's a very transactional guy. He knows what needs done, has the intestinal fortitude to do it. Unfortunately, the wife doesn't want to have anything to do with that solution, so there's a lot of conflict there. But I don't know, for me it was just, there's a lot to grab onto, so he was really interesting for me to dig deep into and find out. I found out more things about George than I think anybody will ever know. Yeah, good fun.
Beatrice, I think she's complicated, only because she knows about good, evil, and she's sort of in the middle, not wanting to really partake in anything dark, but she has to help out a family lineage and change that. So I think she's a good heart. She's a little cranky. She has a good heart.
And you mentioned over there that you're a fan of horror, but not like slasher. So you love the supernatural stuff, right?
You know, I love supernatural, but I like Inheritance. Sort of, yes. I'm not crazy about sci-fi, but I do like otherworldly energies. Yeah, that can come and go. Yeah, I do like that.
Tell us a little bit about what your role is in Curse of the Necklace.
Well, I play Jonah, the son of Ruth, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm kind of like the character that's just bland and not really anything action or anything like that. Just someone that comes out of a random necklace, you know.
And is the horror genre something you watch, or are you allowed to watch it?
I'm allowed to watch it, but I have to cover my eyes for some parts. And horror in general, I love it. It's like amazing.
And okay, so Curse of the Necklace. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration and the idea behind that?
Yeah, so basically it's the story of a family in the 1960s who's going through a crisis. You know, the marriage just broke up and the mother and the two daughters are trying to figure out how to, you know, move on and how to create a new normal for them. And that's why the father gives them a necklace, gives the mom a necklace to try to win her back, but then he doesn't know that the necklace is cursed. So basically it's a story about a family, it's a story about three women trying to find their way into this new sort of family that they need to be. So that's what's at the heart of the film.
So you mentioned over there it's your first horror project.
Yeah, it's our first horror movie. After we did like our first couple dozen were action movies, and the Warner Bros. Asked us to do a holiday movie. We were like, a holiday movie? Like, I'm Iranian. I don't even celebrate Christmas really like us. We did one. They licensed it to Netflix. It became the #1 movie in the world for like weeks, like 6 weeks. So then we ended up doing 8 more for Netflix and HBO Max and all that. And then it was like, what about a horror movie? We're like, oh, interesting. So we decided to really leverage this up between a young, amazing actress named Madeleine McGraw that we had hired before. We gave her first speaking role. We gave her first, not her first, but we gave her first speaking role. Then we gave her a supporting role in one of our other movies. And then her first number one on the call sheet, lead role in an HBO Max movie called The Christmas Mystery in 2022. And she's also the star of Megan, if you've seen the big horror hit Megan. And her older sister is the star of The Black Phone. And I'm like, why don't we write a movie like a possession movie, this one's a cursed object movie, but like for those two to be in the one movie together. So we wrote it. John Ducey did a fantastic job. Christina Moore produced. Daniel and Alex produced with Juan Pablo directing, and it was just a lot of fun. So for me, like I got like poop scared out of me when I saw Exorcist when I was like 7 years old, because I don't know why my parents are letting me watch Exorcist at 7 years old. So I really was like kind of gun shy, but I mean, I love it. Warner thinks it's one of our best movies. We're excited about it. We hope you guys like it. I hope you guys stay and watch the movie. I hope you get scared. I hope you feel good. But all our movies do have like a good through line in them. So I hope there's still the message of an ESX movie has always been the same, whether it's action or thriller or horror or even holiday. We will kind of have that, like, you know, shed a tear, leave with a smile, but now we're squeezing a lot of blood into it.